Beijing, I was very excited by what you shared in India, and I know you've been to New York, you've been to Haiti, you've been to Chile, South America recently, and around the world. But the fact is that many young people are choosing to die, suicide. What's that all about?
Yeah, it's a sad reality. Life is hard.
Life is what?
Hard.
Is it harder than it used to be?
Yeah.
Why is it harder for young people
I'm
now?
going to have to say, back to what I said prior, is we have 24/7, people have 24/7 access to you on the digital space, and you have 24/7, you have the access to anything you want. So what does that mean? That means you are searching anything, that is anything, you have access to searching that. There are young people that should not have access to that. You guys didn't, growing up. I didn't to an extent, right? And then
I had to work at Mr. Allen's shop every Saturday and sometime after school.
Yeah.
They used to call me Mr. Allen's slave. And the pretty girls would go to the Capitol Theater and pass my father's shop. And I tried to hide, and I put on a big, long white apron. He said, David! And I had to go and serve them. So I gave them extra candy and said, here's when things get better for me. But I would feel sad sometimes. I had to work so hard, man.
Yeah.
Maybe that was a mistake, though. It was too hard for me.
You think?
But I'm still working hard now.
Is that by choice or necessity?
No choice, but I'm saying that's where I learned to work at my father's shop.
Exactly. So with our young people today, or I speak in the context of the Bahamas, is the homes are not a safe place. In terms
the home
of
is what?
The homes. Some of the homes are not a safe place.
Why?
In regards to the lack of love and attention that children and adolescents need in their period of growing up. It's not present. Whether it's because a father is not.
What happened to the love?
It's a cycle. So it's a cycle. So if they were brought into this world without a father, then the mother is then dealing with certain traumas that she hasn't been able to, solve or heal from. And so then all of that is then put into the child. And then the child grows up with all of that in the only best way that the mother can provide for the child. And then that's not healed. So then we have another cycle of not healed. So it's a cycle, but it's also social problems, as well as in terms of friends and bullying and peer pressure is also part of the reason why. And then after acting in such negative deeds, they then feel ashamed. They then feel bad. And then it's one deed right after the other, and it's like, whoa, there's no coming back from this. Like, this is who I am. I don't think healing is possible, nor do I know how to reach out for healing. Who do I ask? My school teacher, my counselor, my church leader, if I go to church? Do I feel safe with any of these people knowing what I'm actually going through? So it's just a web of just so much, and then probably they think the best solution is just get out of this thing called life. Just end it all. And it breaks my heart. I want to be able to reach them and say, you are so worth it. You are so worth it. You have no idea. You're not just here to fill up space. Like, you are here for a reason.
Beijing, do you ever feel sad?
Yes, I do.
What's it like when you feel sad?
What's it like when I feel sad? My heart feels heavy. Physically, my heart feels heavy. And I usually, just because I've been this way since 15, where I would just journal it. I would journal why do I feel this way? And what may have triggered me to feel this way. But I used to suffer from anxiety and depression. And So I'm, you know, an advocate for, you know, good, healthy mental health, which is another huge problem happening within the young people of the entire world. It's just too many stresses, like, you know, school. It doesn't matter which economic class you come from. There's stresses in every economic class of child is suffering mentally. You know, like I did some speaking engagements in some private high schools here in the Bahamas, and you know, they felt that they can open up to me, and they shared, you know, that they're suffering from their mental health, and sometimes home environments as well, because parents are too busy to play with the child, you know, or be
parents
with
are too busy to play with the child.
To play
so
or be with the child.
children want to be played with still?
I just think they want love and attention from their family members.
But I thought if they had their games, they don't want to play with the parents.
No, that's just a distraction. That's a distraction. We were created to interact. We were created for community. We were created to touch, feel, talk, love, hug with each other, not from a screen. No, no. Yes, that has done good, has done some great things in the world. But what is needed today, especially coming out of the COVID pandemic? I mean, isolation is off the charts. And our young people feel isolated, they feel lonely, they feel that no one cares for them, and they fear for the future. What does tomorrow look like? I can tell you a story. Yesterday, I went to Harbor Bay. I went to go get a smoothie, and I was stopped twice by two persons, randomly, as I was going to my car at the parking lot. And then a third time, and this time it was a young male, security officer, young male. He comes to my car window and he goes, "I saw these two people stopping you." And he goes, "What do you do? Do you do, you know, something in wellness, you know, like coaching?" I was like, "Yes, I'm a life coach for kids, teens, and young adults to help them get from point A to point B in their lives, teaching, you know, character and confidence and communication skills." And he was like, "Oh, wow. Well, do you work with those who suffer from anxiety?" I was like, "No, I do not, because you need to have a certain licensing for that. So you would have to look up a therapist to help you, you know, unpack that." And I go, "How old are you?" And he goes, 24. I was like, "Oh, you're young." And he goes, "Yeah." I was like, "Well, I have this community that you can," because he said, first I asked, I said, "Do you have community? Like, do you do life with certain people?" He goes, "No, I'm alone." And I was like, "No." And he goes, "Yeah." And I go, "Well, I have this community for you. It's my nonprofit called IoT, It's Our Turn."
What's it called?
It's called IoT, It's Our Turn.
What's IoT?
IoT, It's Our Turn is my youth-led nonprofit where we develop youth as leaders.
It's our turn.
It's our turn as young people to stop the cycle and start to spiral.
So you told him you have
I said that, and I said, "Would you like to become a volunteer? Join our community. You will have a community of other young people. Wow. Join our community." And then he said, wow, exchange numbers, all that stuff.
Oh,
and
that's
then
when you have these young people marching. I saw a group of, you're leading a group of young people marching the other day.
Yes, but before I say that, I just want to say, and I left off, and it brings tears to my eyes, and I said, "You are no longer alone. You are no longer alone. You have a community now. Join us.
Wow.
Do not forget to message." And his eyes lit. I was like, "Are you excited? You're going to be joining a whole new community of young people now. You're no longer alone. Wow. You don't have to do this thing called life anymore alone." So that just...
You don't have to do this thing called life anymore alone. Wow.
So yeah.
Beijing, that's great.
I just wanted to...
Just yesterday, going to get a smoothie, guy knocked on your car door.
I'm just grateful to be able to have certain communities to be like, come, be with us. We want you.
You're infectious. You just grab people. And I think in the summer I saw a bunch of young people marching with you. What were you guys marching for? We were marching too.
Even your grandson.
I wonder, you had Luke there. Luke was leading the sign. Where was Luke? We were marching them to.
So honestly, we were just bringing awareness to share with the Bahamas and
to
whoever would like
Where?
the
Bahamas?
Yeah, to the Bahamas, and anyone who would like to listen to us. We were just trying to bring awareness, say, hey, we exist. We want to stop the cycle and start the spiral in marginalized youth communities because we care enough to do that through education, quality education opportunities, mental health resources, and youth leadership and empowerment. And so, and we do that through our Adopt a Youth community in Woods Alley once a month. And it's just us young people who are just want to make a difference, that don't believe that we have to wait to do so. And so, and with, you know, Jesus as our leader, you know, and yeah, that's, we were just bringing awareness for the persons in the car driving by and be like, whoa, these are all like youth. Why are they taking out their Saturday on a hot summer day, right? On a hot summer day that cares enough to create poster cards, like actually do poster cards, mobilize a bunch of young people, go on the hot streets of Nassau and walk.
Wow.
And I cried on that march because afterwards we all came into a circle and everyone got to share their experience.
What did they say?
And,
what did they say?
You know, there's one lady, she said she walked past a young lady on the street, and the lady was saying, because it was a silent march, there was no speaking involved. That's why the poster placards were so important. And the young lady was speaking to her, and I witnessed it. But I couldn't really hear, so when she was sharing in the circle is when she shared the story, and the young lady saw it, and she said, I can't read, what does this say? And that blew us all the way. On the side, she's just one of the persons on the side on Bay Street, and she goes, I can't read, what does this say? Oh. And this was there's a young lady in her 30s, and that broke our hearts. And this is why IOTA exists. This is why we have to do what we have to do, and I'm gonna die trying doing it. And my whole thing is die empty with all the gifts and talents and everything that God has given me. Because it's not about me, it's not about us. Personally for me, I believe it's about Christ and the work that Christ is trying to do through you to change the world for him. So.
Beijing, do you ever get discouraged?
Yes, yeah.
I know you do a lot, and I guess I've done that too in my days as well. But what do you do when you get discouraged, man?
So I have learned to not keep it to myself, and I have developed a habit to talk about it. So I would share it with a confidant, whether that's a best friend or a family member, but for me, it's the power of releasing it and not keeping it within, but releasing it and say like, this is how I feel. And so, and everyone's different. I don't like somebody to just listen. I always love advice or, you know, their opinion, right? Because in Proverbs it says, get advice, you know. But, and so I would wait to hear, you know, their opinions, their thoughts. And then I'd always ask, you know, and then I love prayer, you know, too. And that whole just relationship. But do you ever feel so discouraged
you want to just give up?
Oh yeah, I wanted to give up in January so many times.
You've been trying so
hard. Many times I wanted to give up. During that whole 12-year waiting season, I wanted to give up. And then my last time of wanting to give up was in January of this year, January 2022. I was doing a 5-day spiritual fast, and I was like, Lord, what's happening? Like, you say in Philippians 1:6 that like, hey, you'll finish the work until you come. But I don't see anything happening. You know, I'm a diehard soldier, but like, what are we doing, you know? And then that's when I met Will Harris.
Wow.
And he took me to India and he changed my life.
Yeah. We're going to take a break and be right back.